mismanagement allegations that have been made about the retirement system, how we underperformed the country, for the last couple of years. And all that stuff is true. I mean, it really is. We have a mismanagement. That's not part of it, but our underperformance, our performance, has been on the backside of the whole nation. We have made a lot of investments in Alabama. Some of them are awful, though we're working on them. But in the 90s we did the same thing, and we were kicking butt, and everybody loved us. We were ahead of the game, and that's the way the markets roll. And this very much puts us in the spotlight more so than it does other states because of this. We invest in Alabama. We own our investments. We stick with them. We think they're good. We think they're good for the retirement system. We think they're good for the state. If it didn't, we wouldn't make them in the first place. Does that mean everything turns out like you think it is? Absolutely not, especially in the short term. And what's killed us is the short term. There's not a pension fund in the United States that has not experienced the same thing that we have over the last 4 or 5 years. The difference between them and us is no different between two people that one on this side owns a house, one on this side rents an apartment. If you look at their balance sheet, and this person over here on this side of the room has a $100,000 house. This person's just paying rent every month. You look at their balance sheet, and you after this market crash, you say, well, this dummy over here lost 25% of his capital assets, and this guy over here didn't lose a thing. That's the truth. But this guy's not a dummy. That's just the way the market works. And when things return to normal, this guy over here is going to have capital assets, and then this guy's going to be the dummy because he made all this money and doesn't have anything. And that's kind of where we are with the retirement system right now. We own these investments. Other funds that invest in real estate and these kind of projects, they will invest in a real estate fund. And it's just a piece of paper like this. It's a stock, it's a bond. And when that takes a hit and there's a better alternative out there, they say, here you go, give us our money. They take their money and they put it over here something that performs a little better. They take their hit and they move on. Then they're back to normal. We're sitting over here with a hotel, with a golf course, with a newspaper company. And you just can't say, here, give me my money back. Those are not liquid assets. I mean, we could sell them, but it takes time. If you want to do it like this, you're going to book a heck of a loss. But what's going to happen in time, we're confident in this. We think. And not always right. Even Dr. Bronner's not always right. He usually is most of the time. But those assets will come back. And when we do, we're going to look good and they're going to look bad. And what's happened is there's some critics out there that for whatever reason, and I haven't figured out if it's political, if it's lawyers that want to make money. I think it's a combination of both. Some of the political folks, and it seems to be coming, and I don't know why, primarily from North Alabama, they're using this to promote their agenda. Have you seen what these guys are doing? They're the last in the country for the last 3 years. Their 5-year investment performance, their 3 years, their 10 years lags everybody. Well, yeah, it does, because we're looking at this huge asset right now, and we're holding on to it. But we look at 30-year horizons. We always have. It's not something we started doing because it's good to look that way right now. Retirement is looking for the long term. When somebody comes to work, it's generally going to be about 30 years before they retire. So you want to take that money, they contribute the state's money, invest that wisely over 30 years, and have enough to pay them. So that's our investment horizon. It's no different from, having a child that you're trying to set up. You're going to buy them a whole lot of stocks. And at some point, that stock's going to go, and you're going to go, it just happens. But over 30 years, it's going to go way back up here, and you can put it in a passbook savings account and stay right down here. You'll never have that. But when you get to that 30-year period, you're never going to have this much money up here. You're going to have this much down here. So, that's just the game we play, and it's been used against us. It's been used against us by some attorneys that have got a couple of members that said, hey, look at this. We can file a class action suit. We'll make them stop doing this. It'll be good for you, be good for the retirement system. And they say, okay. And, the main motivation, I think, is some attorneys one sense, bad in another, depending on which way you look at it. You know, if they get that certified as a class action, they're going to make a whole bunch of fees out of it. And then you have some political folks, like I said, that I don't mean to brand everybody with this same brush, but I think you've got some faction of the new political element that's running this state right now that came in with things that, you know, the other group has screwed things up so bad and they're so evil, we're going to wipe every one of them out and we're going to put our people, our good people in those positions. And I think some of those that we fall into that. You know, you've got your cabinet level positions that's changed every 4 years, but they need to get all these other ones out and put some good folks in there, like the retirement system, the state insurance plan, the legislative reference service. You saw them wipe out the Law Institute this year, which has been a staple, you know, and you know, institutional deal out of Tuscaloosa. And, you know, they just wiped out their budget. Montgomery got a new director. I think there are some factions that want to change every position of leadership just from a power thing. And you're seeing all these forces come together with the changes in the economy, and no one knows what's going to happen. And, you know, we just got kind of a mess. But I think our challenge is to keep our focus, to recognize our problems, and we've got problems, but to not take responsibility for those things that are not really problems that people want to lay on us. And, you know, I mean, I know that we can work it out if we can pull that off. Is it going to be difficult? Absolutely. Is it going to be frustrating? It's probably been the most frustrating year of my life. You know, I mean, I've seen a lot of changes. I've been in big battles before, but just being frustrated, not able to, you know, accomplish anything. People want to do something, and you tell them you're not solving the problem. Well, we don't want to hear it. You know, it's just like you're spinning your wheels, and it has been very frustrating. And I